My 35M wife's 34F smoking hot chiropractor. My wife, 34F, and I, 35M, have been married for 8 years. Over the past 2 years or so she has been going to a chiropractor who is a very attractive, buff, ex-college football player. I wasn't entirely comfortable with it, because honestly who really wants handsome dudes in intimate positions with their wife behind closed doors? But I bit my tongue and never admitted to being uncomfortable with it to her. Just recently my wife comes to me and says I have to tell you this crazy story. One of her good friends, Sarah, just Marco Poloed a recorded video chat, her a super graphic story of Sarah hooking up with her massage therapist. My wife was visibly blushing and seemed very thrilled by the whole story, and my first internal thought was, I bet she is thinking about her chiropractor when listening to this story, but I don't say anything. Later that day, my curiosity got the best of me, and while she was on a run, I checked her response to her friend on her phone. Sure enough, I was right. My wife responded about her smoking hot chiropractor, who is always touching her butt and inner thighs, and how much it turns her on. Among other things that husbands just never want to hear. There were many other chats that I didn't listen to that I honestly think had more revealing confessions. I confronted her peacefully, and at first she was mad for snooping and defensive. But we eventually agreed that she shouldn't see him anymore. It's been a few weeks and we have moved on. It hasn't come up again, but I still have a lingering image of them together behind closed doors. Does anyone else feel like lingering questions and the mystery of whether did they or didn't they? Situations can be just as unhealthy for a relationship than actually knowing for sure they were unfaithful. Should I just try to forget it, or bring it up again and admit to it still bothering me? Also, was I dumb for snooping in the first place? Is his name John Redcorn? WTF is a chiropractor touching her inner thighs for? It's nice that I can come here instead of searching online for cuckold fiction. Didn't know John Redcorn got into chiropractic healing as well. The real betrayal here is going to a chiropractor. Those people are charlatans who damage people's bodies. This needed more than a "just stop seeing him" resolution. She continued seeing the chiro even after she realized the attraction and attention he was giving her. She reiterated as much to a friend in a sort of brag in comparison to someone having a fling with their similar setup situation. Emotionally cheating is still cheating. There needs to be closure for you to get beyond it, if you can. My sister had a crush on her massage therapist. She would go on and on about how hot he was. He never did anything inappropriate, but she ended up divorcing her husband. Being attracted and feeding that is intense connection of being touched intimately is hell on a marriage. Her husband caught on only after she'd filed, but by then it was too late. She wanted someone new to make her feel them goosebumps. Your wife is playing with fire. You were right to shut it down. The chances that she banged him are super low because the fraction of healthcare providers who would be inappropriate is low. Low enough to presume it didn't happen unless there is some evidence that this isn't just her fantasy. You have to go in with the presumption of innocence about actual cheating. I get somatic dysfunctions of my thoracic region, and the only one that has been able to fix it is an actual doctor that has studied osteopathic medicine. The goal is to fix it once and be done. Unless you re-injure it, which I do, you shouldn't have to go weekly. It's a total scam. Don't know if this will help, but I'm a chiropractor. I'll tell you straight up, when I'm with a patient, even if they are a woman and objectively attractive, stuff like this is absolutely the last thing on my mind. All I'm thinking about is providing good care and hoping they leave my clinic satisfied. I can't speak for all of us, but I'll say that regardless of how smoking hot this dude was, he most likely was not reciprocating whatever your wife was feeling. Whether it's during an initial physical exam, or while performing some kind of soft tissue therapy, or treatment itself, my hands will be in a lot of sensitive areas. Especially so, considering many women carry a lot of tension in their glutes, thighs and hips. We see a lot of conventionally attractive patients. Yes, our hands are on them. But rest assured, you can probably stop worrying about what happened behind closed doors. Your wife did the right thing discharging herself as a patient. As much as Reddit doesn't want you to believe, we are professionals too. We have regulated governing bodies. And our wives to answer to, and no one wants to risk their career or have a malpractice case on their hands. Regardless of whether they had sex or not, your wife continued seeing this chiropractor despite having obvious sexual feelings for him. I'd say that's cheating on some level, and needs more than just an "okay, I'll stop seeing him." You need couples counseling. I don't think this is something we can solve through a Reddit comment. I've been seeing chiropractors for over 20 years. Personally, I think it's one thing to feel sensitive to the touch during adjustment, but it's another to share how it turns you on with someone else. Especially if the someone else isn't your so. I think it was a good call to find another chiropractor. How often does your wife see her chiropractor? I go to one, but it's like 12 a year. Definitely not something that would warrant a jealous husband. My husband goes to the same one. And also we go to the same massage therapist. I am loving the many John Redcorn references in the comments. If your biggest concern about your wife is unfounded paranoia about affairs with her medical professionals, I think you have a pretty good marriage and she's a keeper. Your wife's an idiot for being at a chiropractor to begin with. Pseudoscientific BS. I am kind of shocked that people need to be policed over this type of stuff, while also getting annoyed as if getting policed over it is wrong. What is wrong with people seriously losing faith in marriages in 2023? Buddy, just stopping it is a band-aid on a gaping wound, which is evident given you are still hurting from it. You guys really need to talk about the deeper issues here. Why was she comfortable continuing to go to them for those touches? Why was she actively gloating about this to others? There is more than just stop the action. You need to get to the root of her wanting it and seeking it. Guys go to sports clips to get boobs on their head. Just because your wife found him hot doesn't mean that he's unprofessional enough to have crossed a line. Your wife's fantasies are almost certainly just that. How you proceed from here is up to you. But I think it's unlikely that she actually cheated, or she would have told her friend during that conversation.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epicaricast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.